There is a mistake many people make with both dogs and cats. They wait until the growl, until the hiss, until the bite, until the scratching, until the room already feels tense. And only then do they say, "My pet is angry." But the truth is, anger in dogs and cats rarely begins with the attack. It begins much earlier, in the body, in stress, in discomfort, in frustration, in fear. And if you learn to read those earlier signals, you can often stop the problem before it turns into aggression or destructive behavior. What makes this so important is that dogs and cats do not become upset in the same way. They may both react strongly, but the psychology behind those reactions is often very different. Dogs are more likely to show rising emotion through movement, noise, social tension, and obvious body language. Cats are more likely to show rising emotion through distance, stillness, defensive posture, and sudden explosive reactions once their limit is crossed. That difference matters. Because if you misunderstand the warning signs, you may accidentally push them further instead of helping them calm down. Let's start with dogs. When a dog looks angry, the emotion underneath is often not simple anger at all. Very often, it is fear, anxiety, frustration, pain, or conflict. Veterinary behavior sources note that techniques causing fear or pain can increase anxiety and aggression in dogs, and conflict can happen when a dog has competing motivations, such as wanting social contact but also fearing approach. That is why a dog may bark, lunge, snap, or act out after being cornered, rushed, physically corrected, overwhelmed, or repeatedly prevented from doing something it is strongly motivated to do. Many people call this stubbornness, but behaviorally, it is often dysregulation. The dog's nervous system is no longer coping well. And before a dog reaches that point, the body usually speaks first. You may see lip licking, yawning when the dog is not tired, turning the head away, freezing, tension in the face, a stiff tail, a hard stare, a closed mouth, pacing, whining, restlessness. These are not small things. They are often early signs that the dog is moving out of comfort and into stress. Cats are different. When a cat looks angry, the behavior is often even more closely tied to fear, stress, pain, overstimulation, or a desire to increase distance from whatever is bothering it. Most forms of cat aggression, except for play or predation, are really attempts to create more space from the trigger. This is one of the most important things a cat owner can understand. A cat that hisses, swats, bites, crouches, flattens its ears, or stares with wide pupils is usually not trying to dominate you. It is usually trying to say, "This is too much. Back off. Give me control again." Some cats can even ask for attention and then bite if petting continues too long. That means what looks like unpredictable moodiness is often a cat crossing a stimulation threshold. So if you compare the two species, the emotional pattern often looks like this. A dog tends to escalate outward. A cat tends to hold tension inward and then react sharply once the threshold is crossed. A dog often wants the situation to change through movement, sound, and social response. A cat often wants the situation to stop through distance, space, and control. That is why the warning signs are different too. In dogs, rising tension may look noisy, active, clingy, pushy, or confrontational. In cats, rising tension may look quiet, still, avoidant, hypervigilant, or suddenly explosive. So why do they get this way? For dogs, common causes include fear, frustration, physical pain, unpredictability, rough handling, social conflict, overarousal, lack of sleep, and inconsistent boundaries. For cats, common causes include fear, pain, overstimulation, unwanted touch, lack of control, resource conflict, territory stress, sudden environmental change, and poor outlets for natural behavior. In both species, pain matters much more than many owners realize. A pet who suddenly becomes more reactive, aggressive, or hard to handle may be dealing with pain rather than bad attitude. That leads to the next important question. What do you do so they stop acting out? The first answer is this. Stop thinking only in terms of obedience. Start thinking in terms of triggers, thresholds, and unmet needs. If you punish a stressed dog harshly, you may suppress the signal without solving the feeling underneath. And if you force a stressed cat to stay in contact when it is already asking for space, you often intensify the behavior instead of calming it. So the goal is not to win. The goal is to reduce the reason the animal feels the need to react. For dogs, that often means 5 practical things. First, give clearer structure. Many dogs become less frustrated when daily life becomes more predictable. Regular walks, regular feeding, regular rest, clear cues, consistent responses. Second, watch arousal before it explodes. If the dog is already pacing, whining, stiffening, overfocused, jumping, or unable to settle, do not keep adding stimulation. Lower the intensity. Slow things down. Create space. Third, meet real needs. A dog that is under-exercised, under-enriched, overtired, or confused may act naughty when what it really needs is a better balance of movement, mental work, and rest. Fourth, use reward-based training to build alternative behaviors. Teach go to mat. Teach wait. Teach disengage. Teach hand target. Teach calm check-ins. These behaviors give the dog another way to cope. And fifth, rule out pain if behavior changes suddenly or becomes unusually intense. For cats, the strategy is different. First, respect distance. If a cat moves away, do not chase, grab, or keep petting. Distance is often the cat's first attempt to stay regulated. Second, reduce overstimulation. Keep interactions shorter. Watch the tail. Watch the ears. Watch the skin twitching. Watch for the moment when enjoyment shifts into tension. Third, improve the environment. Cats often act out more when they lack climbing space, hiding space, scratching outlets, territory control, and predictable safe zones. Fourth, protect routine. Cats are highly pattern-based animals, and stress often shows up when the environment becomes noisy, chaotic, or inconsistent. Fifth, investigate pain or medical causes, especially if the cat suddenly becomes more reactive, vocal, or avoidant. So, how do you stop them from being naughty all the time? Usually not by being harsher, usually by being more observant. A dog that chews, jumps, barks, or acts wild may be overstimulated, underguided, underrested, or frustrated. A cat that scratches furniture, swats, hisses, or knocks things over may be under-enriched, overstimulated, territorial, or stressed. The behavior is different, but the deeper principle is the same. Animals cope through behavior, and when the environment does not help them regulate well, that coping can become destructive, noisy, or difficult for humans to live with. This is why prevention matters more than correction. If you learn your dog's early stress signals, you can intervene before the lunge. If you learn your cat's early stress signals, you can intervene before the swat. That is how trust is protected. That is how behavior improves without damaging the relationship. And perhaps the most important point of all is this. A dog that acts angry is not always mean. A cat that acts angry is not always cold. Both may be trying, in the only language they have, to say, "I am overwhelmed. I do not feel safe. I need space. I need clarity. I need relief. I need you to understand what is happening before you try to control it." Once you truly understand that, the question changes. You stop asking, "How do I make my pet stop?" And you start asking, "What is pushing my pet past its limit?" That is the question that actually changes behavior.